And we have often said that we don't mention the names, but we address the principles. Because the name's going to change.
It's going to change.
Sooner or later, the name's going to change. Are there people in high positions in the church, hobnobbing in ecumenical councils,
Yes.
that say, we do not preach, or these people do not preach the three angels' messages. They stick to just Jesus. But Jesus gave an instruction to preach the three angels' messages. Now, should we now say that individual who does that should be thrown out of the church? Is that my job or is that God's job?
That's God's job.
Can I ask you another question? Is it only him or her? Or are there hundreds like him?
Yes.
All over.
There are. There's a right way and a wrong way to deal with it.
Yes.
And the church has very clear directions on how to deal with it.
Okay. Now, Martin, have we had confrontations, or let's make it very personal, have I personally had confrontations with many of those with the mindset that we are not going to do this, we're not going to preach the three angels' messages? Have I been hauled over the coals by them?
Yes.
Have I been before councils? Have I written letters to them?
All the leaders.
Publicly denouncing what is happening. My wife wrote a book, Dwelling in the Secret Place, where the whole story is depicted, including one of the letters that was written to every leader within this organization. It's out there. It's free. Get it from our webpage, read the book, and see whether we've been dumb dogs that couldn't bark. Because we believe there's a right way of doing it and a wrong way of doing it. So you address the principle. Have we ever propagated an ecumenical mindset in our ministry?
No.
Never.
Definitely not.
Never. Have we maintained that the health message is an important right arm of the gospel?
For sure.
Do the churches necessarily love us for it?
No. Not at all.
No. But they also reject the spirit of prophecy on that issue, don't they? So they're not keeping to the testimony, which is the spirit of prophecy. So Martin, this is the very important thing. They have to preach the three angels' messages. The fact that there are people that don't want to because they have an ecumenical mindset is their problem.
You know, it's interesting also, we get accused, especially you, that you are totally against independent ministries.
Excuse me, I belong to an independent ministry which is called Clash of Minds.
Yeah, we are complete independent.
How can I be against it? I'm against independent ministries that say that you have to separate yourself from the body because it has become Babylon.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe it's biblical.
I don't see, and definitely not
according to the quotes that we've just read. I don't believe it. So how far is this church going to go in terms of apostasy? We read in selected messages that the church may appear as about to fall, but it does not fall. It's very plain. It remains while the sinners in Zion will be sifted out, the chaff separated from the precious wheat. It's a terrible ordeal, but nevertheless it must take place. So Martin, there is going to be a cleansing, but God is going to do it.
And unfortunately, if you have maybe a certain mindset of how this is going to happen, don't be surprised when it's not turning out exactly the way you thought.
Correct.
Because most of the time, people would say, okay, it's all the people that don't go along with everything, the more liberal side of the view of all of this. But if you are conservative and keeping to a lot of these things and you still leave, you're in the same boat.
You're in the same boat. Now I have another question. We have an independent ministry, and we have an health institute. The independent ministry is Clash of Minds. The health institute is Veith Center. We have them both, right? So we irritate certain sectors of society just by being that. Is anybody ever baptized into Clash of Minds? No,
because that's not what the oracles are telling you to do.
Are you an elder in the church?
Yes.
I'm an ordained minister in the church. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. Not because they're perfect, but because they have the oracles.
Have they given you in certain places, well, basically, what's the difference with being fired or banned from speaking? It's about the same thing.
I'm banned in certain areas to speak. But am I disfellowshipped or not in regular standing? Absolutely not. I was just the camp meeting speaker at our great big conference here, which is a public venue. So, people that want to say that I am singing according to the tune of the leaders of the church, I will sing according to the tune of the leaders of the church if they are in harmony with the Bible and the spirit of prophecy. I'll sing the same tune. If they are not, I will address the principles. Have we, for example, under the recent epidemics that were taking place, put our position very clear, and that position was not necessarily in harmony with what the body was doing.
Exactly. We made it very clear. It's not supporting some positions that the body has taken. In fact, we made numerous videos to say why we have the position that we took.
Correct, but we based it on the principles and not the individuals. Okay, so the church might appear to fall, but it does not. There's another quote from Manuscripts 129. The Lord has declared that the history of the past shall be rehearsed as we enter upon the closing work. We surely are doing that, Martin. Every truth that he has given for these last days is to be proclaimed to the world. Everyone. Every pillar that he has established is to be strengthened. We cannot now step off the foundation that God has established. We cannot now enter a new organization, for this would mean apostasy from the truth. Is that a clear statement?
It's a very clear statement. And maybe we will get to this, but I want to mention it already now. This is what I meant with people like to use certain portions of the spirit of prophecy to make a statement. So this was written in 1905 because there were certain statements that we will get to that were written earlier. But you have to balance the two to make sure that she did not say, let's separate.
I'm instructed to say to Seventh-day Adventists the world over, God has called us as a people to be a peculiar treasure unto himself. He has appointed that his church on earth shall stand perfectly united in the spirit and counsel of the Lord of hosts to the end of time. If we are following the history of Israel, there was always discord within the ranks, but the truth was there, the oracles were there. Now, here's another one that comes from Testimonies to Ministers. Those who assert that the Seventh-day Adventist churches constitute Babylon, or any part of Babylon, because some actually say, no, this level of governance within the church is Babylon. And this one maybe not, and that one certainly is, and that one is not, or whatever. No. Any part of Babylon may better stay at home. Let them stop and consider what is the message to be proclaimed at this time. In place of working with divine agencies to prepare a people to stand in the day of the Lord, they have taken their stand with him who is an accuser of the brethren, who accuses them before God day and night. Don't accuse the brethren. Weep and cry between the porch and the altar because of the evil that is done in Israel, the apostasy that is in its ranks. But that is the Lord's problem. Don't run along with it. Set a better example.
Did you run away or did you leave because they told you not to preach the three angels' messages in this church?
No. I told the individuals that told me not to preach the three angels' messages that I didn't consider them Seventh-day Adventists. They were very angry with me.
Were they leaders?
Some of them were deans of our largest universities in the world, and some of them were leaders from the highest level in the church. And they told me I may not preach this, that, and the other, and I told them that I must obey God more than them. And if they didn't believe it, that was their problem and not my problem, and I didn't consider them Adventists, and they were very, very angry with me.
And still you stayed with the body.
I am still in the body because that's where the oracles are. Where must I go? And the shaking and the sifting by the angel hasn't been completed yet. He's certainly working at it now because people are leaving in droves, especially those that love the flesh pots of Egypt. They don't like certain statements, like some that have left some of our big broadcasting organizations lately and have said they don't agree with this statement and that statement because they don't study the history of the children of Israel, and they believe that the testimony is not from God, but from another source because it contradicts their little habits. Yes. So satanic agencies have been moved from beneath, and they have inspired men to unite in a confederacy of evil that they may perplex, harass, and cause of the people of God great distress. The whole world is to be stirred with enmity against Seventh-day Adventists as a body. Because they will not yield homage to the papacy. Do we have people in our ranks that say the papacy has changed?
Yes, they do.
Have we shown over and over that they have not changed?
Just go and have a look at the last 2 episodes of What's a Prophet we did.
So who has the problem?
Definitely not us.
They have the problem, right?
And the oracles inside of the church is still stating the same thing, so that if there are people that want to proclaim that or want to use a platform saying that, even if it's a general conference leader, it doesn't change the fact that...
I don't care who it is. Yeah. There were union leaders that wrote publicly against us, or me in particular, about this issue that Rome had changed. And I publicly rebuked him in a letter. That's another one. You can go and look it up on the web pages. It's there. There's an answer to a union president. That's in the public domain. And so this enmity is going to be against this church because we don't honor the papacy and we don't honor their Sunday institution. And it's an anti-Christian power, whether they like it or not. It is the purpose of Satan to cause them to be blotted from the earth in order that his supremacy of the world may not be disputed. One of the leaders in this church told me that I may not preach this. So he actually said it's not part of our fundamental beliefs. And I said, but the spirit of prophecy is part of the fundamental beliefs, and therefore, if she tells me that I must preach this, and the Bible tells me in Daniel chapter 7 that I must preach this or warn against the little horn power, and Revelation 13 tells me that this is the problem at the end of time, if he doesn't want to do that, that's his problem. I would suggest to him that he goes and joins another church because I don't know what he does here and why he's in this church.
If you don't want to keep to the oracles and you don't want to accept it, then I'm not going to leave because he doesn't want to.
No, but I'm not going to spit him out. If he stays in the church and he stays even a dean of theology, I don't care. God will take care of him. Either he'll change his mind or he will be spewed out. One of the two.
Yes. And we'll get to that also. But if he's there, some will probably make it right until the end. But they're not there in the right garment.
Maybe this. They'll sit there in the garment of their own righteousness. But the main problem that I see, or the issue, is one of two. Those that want to appropriate the righteousness of themselves, they're perfect.
Yeah.
And everybody else is imperfect, therefore we will separate. We are now perfect. And the other group is, do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. We have these two highly liberal thinking patterns.
Yeah.
And one calling themselves ultra-conservative, dressing themselves with their own garment of righteousness. We're never supposed to say that we are righteous. We can claim it by faith, the righteousness of Christ, but it is his righteousness, never mine.
And let him say it. So, just to put that out there, we don't say that you will be saved in your sin.
No. And if we say that we have a fallen nature, we are just reiterating what the Bible says and what the spirit of prophecy says. And if we say that we are without sin, we are liars and the truth is not within us, we have a sinful nature. That doesn't mean you have to listen to it and sin, because we are buried with Christ in baptism and resurrected with him. I don't have to commit adultery because I have a fallen nature. For sure. I don't have to steal, even if I'm poor. Even if Thomas Aquinas gives me permission, and the Pope in Rerum Romarum gives me permission to steal, that's breaking the commandments of God. And these people are basing their theology on natural law. That's their problem. I don't have to listen to it. And I would rather stick to the oracles of God. They are very plain.
And I will only call the righteousness of Christ over me perfect.
That's the only perfection that I can ever lay claim to. So let all be careful not to make an outcry against the only people who are fulfilling the description given in the remnant people who keep the commandments. Description given in the remnant people who keep the commandments of God and have the faith in Jesus. Martin, this is a very important statement. God has a distinct people, a church on earth, second to none, but superior to all the facilities to teach the truth, to vindicate the law of God. My brother, if you are teaching that the Seventh-day Adventist Church is Babylon, you are wrong. That's not me saying that, but I will add my voice to it and say, I agree.
Yeah.
So all of these barking individuals who are barking at the church while they have separated from the church have done so on their own volition. I have actually written letters to some of them asking them to reconsider. Why should I suffer alone in this church?
It's easy to get out.
It's easy to get out and say I want nothing
and then become perfect, because there's also some camp meetings even ridicule that we don't want to tear the church apart and separate from it.
All right. Moses left immediately when the children of Israel apostatized, right?
I wonder, can you name one that actually left? The one through the years of the church that actually... Nobody. I do not doubt your sincerity or honesty. I have written long letters at different times to those who were accusing the Church of Seventh-day Adventists of being Babylon. I have also written long letters. You can go and read them. They're in my wife's book. You can get them from the webpage. They're not hidden somewhere in a corner. That they were not handling the truth. You think individuals have prejudiced my mind? If I'm in this state, I'm not fitted to be entrusted with the work of God. But this matter has been brought before my mind in other cases where individuals have claimed to have messages for the Seventh-day Adventist Church of a similar character. And the word has been given me. Believe them not, I have not sent them, and yet they ran. What are you going to do with that, Martin? Where did they ran from?
They ran from the church. They've decided the church consists of tares, and they're going to leave. And they're sitting outside barking their heads off.
It's just amazing to me that those same people believe themselves then to be the perfect harbingers of the truth, and they know how to even utilize tithing.
They will be perfect in their use of time. Yes. Well, Martin, who will take care of the issue in the end? Well, God will take care of his own work. God has a church upon the earth who are his chosen people who keep the commandments. He is leading, not stray offshoots. Now, if you are an independent ministry, are you an offshoot?
No.
You can be.
Yes, but if you keep to the oracles that the church has, and you're still supporting the body, baptizing members into the body.
This is the crucible.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? She writes that God will permit apostasy to come into the church so that you can have clear eyesight and see, well, is this in harmony with the oracles or is it not? And you make a decision. It's the perfect crucible. So stay within this body. It doesn't mean you have to partake of the apostasy.
Definitely. And in fact, don't.
No, don't. You don't even have to join a denominational group within the body that is a boom boom bash church if you think that that is not in harmony with God's word. You don't have to go and do that. You don't have to climb on the bandwagon that everybody else wants to climb onto. Just weep between the porch and the altar.
That's so important.
So there's no need to doubt, to be fearful that the work will not succeed. God is at the head of the work. He will set everything in order. If matters need adjusting at the head of the work, God will attend to that and work to right every wrong. We're going to have a general conference meeting very soon.
A session.
Where the representatives from the whole world can make certain choices. You can use that body to set matters straight.
That is actually, that's the place. Yeah. We've been saying this for 2 years.
If you have something to say, come say it there. So let us have faith that God is going to carry this noble ship which bears the people of God safely into port. When you think that the work is in danger, and I believe that some of these people really believe that the work is in danger, just like I believe sometimes.
Maybe it's important to say, we don't disagree with them being agitated with the apostasy in the church. Of course, we are also.